that is what he does almost all day, every single day. But last weekend, something changed. Yeah, last weekend something changed because for us in this household, it was the very first weekend where Rex here sat through an entire Grand Prix, didn't you? You watched the German Grand Prix, first one. You've seen little bits before, you've watched the start, like a lot of people watch the start and then you drift off and disappear and go and kick a football around. But this weekend you watched the whole thing, didn't you?
It was so good.
Yeah, you loved it. So why? Why was it so good?
Well, it was just... Literally, there was everything in it. The safety car, virtual safety car, people going out, loads of crashes, all sorts of penalties.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting.
It was very interesting, wasn't it? So what do you reckon makes an exciting race then? Because
lots of stuff happening.
Yeah, and all right, what makes a boring race?
A boring race... well, all the usual stuff, no crashes or anything, just usual thing, Hamilton winning and
yeah, okay,
Gasly losing.
Yeah, good points. And I think a lot of you, I'm sure, will agree with some of that, in that, you know, I know we've had 3 great races with the Austrian Grand Prix, the British Grand Prix, and now the German Grand Prix. They've all been brilliant for various different reasons, but what happens is, if you don't have something unusual happening, like rain, extreme temperatures, you know, somebody having a massive technical failure, meaning they drop out of the race, whatever, something out of the ordinary, if you don't have that, because they are outliers in the overall picture of Formula 1, if you don't have any of those, well then we know what's going to happen, because the way Formula 1 works is we have you know, some of the teams with loads of money, they can design and develop really fast cars, buy the best drivers. That's the Mercedes of this world with people like Lewis Hamilton. And then the format of Formula 1 means we do a qualifying run on Saturday. That pitches the car with the fastest lap and puts him on the front of the grid. Now, if we start the fastest car at the front of the grid on Sunday and everything's normal, well, we know what's going to happen, don't we? What's going to happen?
Hamilton's going to win.
Hamilton's going to win.
But this time he came last.
Because what happens is that fastest car that's put it on pole position just starts disappearing off into the distance, lapping faster than anyone else. And we can't expect anything other than that, can we? Because if we put the fastest car there and say, right, off you go, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Actually, Hamilton was second, and Hamilton started first and Verstappen started second, and Verstappen came first.
No, that's right, because this weekend there was something unusual, and that was that it rained, didn't it? It rained heavily, it stopped raining, it started raining again. And I did a video yesterday where I sort of half tongue-in-cheek mentioned, because somebody had mentioned it to me, about should we be artificially sprinkling the track with water on some occasions? Should we be making the track wet to introduce a bit of unpredictability, a bit of excitement? What would you think about that, by the way? If they, halfway through a race, if it was a bit boring, they turned on the sprinkler system at the side of the track and make the track wet?
That would be very cool. Although, yeah, that would be cool. Wait, is it Leclerc's first 3 races?
It's the first season in the Ferrari. He's done one other season, but he was down the back of the grid then.
Oh yeah, he was in this Sauber.
Sauber. Yeah. So I did made this comment about should we be sprinkling the track with water? Should we be introducing some kind of artificial excitement? And I was tongue-in-cheek, but partly tongue-in-cheek, because I do think that we should be open to new ideas and new ways of doing things. And I don't just mean about watering the track. I mean thinking about reverse grids, thinking about success ballast, whereby if a car wins or is leading the championship, you know, he has to carry a bit of extra ballast around. I know they're non-traditional Formula 1 ideas. Should we be qualifying the guys who are, you know, in reverse championship order like we do in Formula E, which has had a great idea of mixing up, or great result of mixing up grids? For me, we need to think a little bit longer term, not as a knee-jerk reaction, but we need to think about ways to introduce a little bit more action, a little bit more excitement, a little bit more fun when we're having what might otherwise be a normal race where the fastest car starts at the front and disappears into the distance. But anyway, the point that I wanted to make about that German Grand Prix was that we have gained, as a result of that German Grand Prix, at least one more Formula One fan right here. Because you just said to me a minute ago, when's the next race? I can't wait for it to happen. Well, it's this weekend, of course.
I don't want to play the game.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Rex asked me this morning if we could. Ginger's off on a play date, by the way, so it's Rex and Daddy time. So he said to me, "Look, can we play the Formula One game today?" Now you never do that, do you? Because it's always all about FIFA, and that's another impact of him being hooked on that full 67 or 64 lap, as it ended up being, race on Sunday in those unpredictable, chaotic conditions. So if we've gained a fan here, I have no doubt we will have gained loads more all across the world. If you stumbled across Formula One for the first time at the weekend, you can't help but be hooked, surely, after that. I mean, it feels like we're going to be letting people down when we get to some kind of more normality, doesn't it?
And I'm always saying to you, oh my goodness, it's so annoying when Hamilton just wins every single race. When actually, if we put the sprinklers on the track, then it would maybe not.
Well, I mean, it's a good point, and it's not just, you're not the only one who thinks that. Lots of people out there are becoming bored, not because it's Hamilton.
They're commenting.
Yeah, not because it's Hamilton, but because it's the same person every week or the same team every week. And if we have nothing out of the ordinary, we know pretty much that they're going to win. So when you're watching sport, when you're watching football, you go into a game and you want to know, or you don't want to know what the result's going to be, do you? You want it to be a great game with unpredictable outcome. You don't know if it's going to be your team winning or the other team winning, or whether there could be a 10-goal thriller or a 2-goal draw, or it doesn't matter. You want to go into it not knowing what's about to happen, don't you?
Remember when we were watching that Chelsea Man City game with Oscar and he got smashed?
You did get smashed, yes. But the point is that if you're going into a sporting event with a 95% surety of what the outcome is going to be, i.e. what where the top two cars are going to come from, where the podium is going to be made up from, surely there's an argument to say we should be at least investigating how we can overcome that, how we could change that. And even if it means what we might think now, using some artificial means, well, so what? We think it's artificial because we've never done that before, and we've never had to do that necessarily before. We've always had either a much more level playing field where there have been opportunities for smaller teams to have a great race on a certain day, or we've had a level of get away fly, or we've had a level of unpredictability and unreliability with the cars, which is what we had back in my day, where we could be leading the race by 30 seconds and yet still there was a 50-50 chance whether you'd finish or not. So that was definitely something that kept you on the edge of your seat. And so we've never had to introduce something necessarily to spice up the show in the way that we're talking about now. So it's just a point I wanted to put out there, in that it's not about turning sprinklers on the side of the track. It's about finding a way to shuffle up the order, to level the playing field. And however we do that, whether it's through financial means, capping the amount of money that teams can spend that might end up levelling the playing field, whether we limit somehow the technical ability of some of the cars, whether we limit the performance of certain cars on certain days through something like success ballast, or whether we start playing God and mucking about with the weather. I don't know what it should be, and I'm really opening it up to you guys for a discussion, but surely we should be at least be open-minded to trying some new things in the future.
Oh wait, have you told them who won the joke?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, you like the jokes, don't you?
That school one was so funny.
Do you want to say thank you to everybody for sending in?
Yeah, thanks for everybody sending in all the jokes. They were all quite funny, but there was one that was just like...
made you laugh
LOL.
out loud, didn't it? Well, we're going to be doing that again. Not the same thing, but we are going to be giving away another prize tomorrow. That will be, of course, with the Hungarian Grand Prix preview. And thanks again to the GP Box for that. So keep an eye out on the channel, because that will be coming very, very soon. But for now, shall we go and have a go on that Formula One game?
Yes! Goodbye. Well, actually, see you in a bit. I'm off. Please don't say I'm last. Oh no, I'm under investigation. I'm under investigation. Oh, I crashed into Hamilton too fast.
I'll tell you what. Should we play FIFA?
Yeah.
You want to go FIFA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing. Just look at the little scoreboard up there, Rob.
What? Brel, get down. Brel. Oh,
4-0. Actually worked. Defending.
that's not